Hello friends, welcome back to Toy Cafe. I am your host, and in this video we are putting together another miniature dollhouse kit, but this time it is a biggie. It's a whole studio apartment in fact, and because of that this video is going to be a little longer than normal, but not to worry, I will go over everything I built, show you how I built it, and we'll see if we pick up any tips or tricks along the way. Yeah, we'll shake that box, lots of stuff in there. But let's get started right away, and we are going to start with a pot of all things. Normally I start with these walls and the floors and whatnot, but this time I'm following the instructions to the letter, and because of that I am starting with this pot. Yeah, I decided to follow the instructions precisely this time instead of doing what I normally do, which is jumping around to different things that make more sense to me to do them in that order. But I decided to follow the instructions precisely this time, and yeah, so we have this lovely little pot. It's just some paper, a little bent wire, and it came out pretty well, I think, surprisingly. Sometimes the best looking things can be the simplest. So now we're working on the range for the stove in the kitchen, and this is going to be a single hob range. At least that's what I think it's called. The burners on a stove, I think they're called hobs. I might be mistaken. We need more stuff for our kitchen, so we're adding some watermelon to a cutting board. It's just been cut up. This watermelon, it actually comes as a cane or a stick, if you will, and you just cut off pieces that are the right size for what you want. And you can actually make these yourself, carefully, out of polymer clay. I've never tried it myself, but maybe that'll be something for a future video. But we'll just get that in there all nice and neat, straighten up those pieces of watermelon, and move on to the next part, which is a faucet. We need a faucet for the sink in the kitchen. Preferably the faucet will be in focus when we install it, but for now it's a little bit blurry. One of the troubles of working on tiny pieces. So now we're starting on the cabinets. The cabinets are just going to be a facade that is hollow behind, because we're not going to open any of these. So we have these pair of doors with a printed screen inside, which is a little bit unusual. I don't think I've ever actually seen this in real life, but I don't know why, because it'd be very pretty. Maybe I just don't go to the right kitchens. Get some door fronts in there as well. And now we're working on the stove, which is very similar to the doors with the printed screen. A piece of paper behind, a piece of paper up front, and I'm using the same method that I use with all paper products when I'm gluing them to the wood. I print them a little bit oversized, cut them oversize, and then trim them down to size afterwards, and that way you always get a perfect fit without any borders around the edge of whatever you're covering. So we get the sides on there and a few other bits and pieces, and there we have our cabinets, or at least the fronts of our cabinets. Next we're working on the countertop, and we're going to cover this whole thing with a piece of paper. This is a little bit tricky because you need to bend these just right to get it to fit properly and give you an all-around finish, but even with that, the way it's made, you still get a little piece in the corner that isn't covered, which is unfortunate, but it comes out pretty well. Yeah, it's a nice countertop for the most part. Just tricky getting all those bits bent. So add in our sink. The sink is just more of that silver paper on some cardstock. And we will attach the cabinet fronts to that countertop. And that'll complete the kitchen counters. Well, for the most part. We still need to add stuff on top to make it more complete. We'll add our faucet on there, our modern faucet with the single control. Yeah, I like those ones. A couple of cartons here. I like to think one is milk and one is orange juice, and they keep getting mixed up. I used a little too much glue here. You can see the big old blob underneath, but I use a glue that dries clear, and because of that, if you do get a little bit too much, no big deal. You just let it dry and it looks pretty good, or you could try scraping some out, but usually just letting it dry is the best thing to do. Here we have first of many plants, and there goes the range on top of the oven. Nice and neat. Add a little bit of glue and put the pot on. Yeah. They didn't have anything for in the pot. I think I should have added some of those plant pieces in there so it looks like they were stewing something up. So these are all posters and some decorative plates. So I glued those to cardstock, cut them all out. And there you can see the plates going together with their stands. Another little bead that looks like a vase and a little piece of plant in there. Make it look like a climbing vine, a piece of ivy. Yellow ivy though, I don't know, I've never seen that. Another clear bead, and we'll add in just a single flower to make it a vase all ready to go. It's amazing how many beads look like lovely little vases once you just add a piece of plant or flower to them. Work really well. So now we're starting in on the main part of this, well, not the main part, but a key part of this dollhouse, and that is the main bookshelf. And this bookshelf also serves as a partition between the living room, the kitchen, and the bathroom. So it's a pretty important piece, and we'll start gluing this together and attaching things. This went together pretty well. There were a few issues with the pieces of wood being warped or not quite the right size. I think it was mostly warping, and a lot of these kits, they sit around in warehouses for a while, or when they get shipped on a boat in a container, they go through some extreme temperature and humidity changes, so almost always the wood you get in these will be a little bit warped. But a little bit of elbow grease and some firm pressure and a good glue, and you can force them back into shape, and you can get a nice finish like you want. Here I'm using the little shelves as points to actually force the thing back into shape, squeezing it together with them and using the glue to hold everything in place, and everything lines up nice and neat and back into straight. And now we're adding the back of the cabinet, which is very important because it's a double printed piece, which is pretty unusual in these kits. But it means that it can be both the bathroom wall and the main bookshelf in this kit. I don't know about this from an engineering standpoint. This might be a little bit risky, but for a miniature dollhouse, it actually comes together pretty nice and saves you on some work as well. So we'll decorate up this bookshelf here. Need lots of little things. Got some books, got some plants, more books. I don't know why there's a bag of coffee there, but it's there. Some of those decorative plates from before. These are adorable. Little monkey and doggy. They say things, but I think they may have run afoul of some poor translations, especially the "Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish" sign. I'm not sure what that means, but it sounds encouraging. Next, we're starting on a very minimalistic stand for towels in the bathroom. And I actually like this. It's very minimal, very simple, but it looks pretty neat, I think. Yeah. These towels are just made out of some material that's been folded up in different sizes. So you have hand towels and body towels and 2 sets of them, because I am assuming there's 2 people that live here, so we need lots of towels. A few more wooden pieces to assemble, and I believe this is the sink for the bathroom. Again, a very simple affair. Just, oh, it's actually a above counter sink. Yeah, a basin sink, they call those. Those were really in style a few years ago here. I think they're still in style in a lot of places. But I never really saw the appeal, because I like the ones that are right in the counter, because if you spill something, you just push it into the sink. But each their own, I guess. Everyone has their own taste. So this is obviously going to be the shower. Unfortunately, they did not include a piece of bendy plastic to make the rest of the shower door. It just sort of sits open. And there's some showers like that for real, but yeah, I would have liked an extra piece in there. So I think we're making some more towels here. Yeah, that fluffy material. Oh no, these are pillows. My mistake. They're made out of the same material, though. Look at those pillows all sealed up on the end, like little nice pieces of ravioli. Delicious. Yeah, we're actually building the sofa here, which is one of the other main pieces as well. I was mistaken about what we were building, but no, this is the sofa. And it starts out a little bit bizarre, because it is a leather wrap sofa, so we need to wrap up all the pieces in leather first and then attach them together. You get a nice finish, and this is always a little bit tricky trying to get the parts, well, the leather tucked into all the little bends that you have in the parts. Yeah. Making some cushions now, and this sofa doesn't look very complex, but it was very time consuming. You have to take your time adding all the pieces, adding all the cushions, trimming everything to just the right size, getting the corners to fold down just right. Yeah, I really enjoy these little bits like this because you need to focus on what you're doing and making sure that you get a nice finish and a good quality product when you're done. And it means you can just let the cares of the world drift away for a little while you're focused on your little couch, which is one of the nice things about miniatures. Yeah, a little bit of focus, a little bit of time, and all your cares melt away. Anyways, get back to the couch. We're lining that thing in leather as well. This is not real leather. It's just fake leather, faux leather. Yeah, which is good. No cows died for our miniature couch. Just some dinosaurs a very long time ago. Alright, next we're building a coffee table, and this was a tiny little affair here. These tiny little sticks had to be glued to these tiny little frames to make a tiny little coffee table. And I went in there with my fingers. If they were a little closer together, I would have had to use the tweezers, but if you can use your fingers, they're actually a lot more precise than tweezers. Tweezers are best when you need to see what you're doing. If you can go by feel, though, your fingers are amazing little instruments, and you can really do some precise work with them. So we'll add a few more details to the coffee table. Yeah, very nice. And that's done. So let's move on to the next part. Lots of fluff here, lots of wood. And yes, I believe we're actually building a chair here. And we're trimming the edges as well with some material. Yeah. Lots of careful bending, lots of careful folding to try to get those edges all sealed up. And this is just like if you were doing one of these projects in real life at full scale. You gotta finish all the edges, you gotta finish the top and the bottom, you gotta worry about all the little details. Yeah, so these chairs are cloth covered this time instead of being leather covered, which is kind of nice because they look pretty sharp in this cloth. And I was careful to try to keep the cloth going in the same direction for all the cushions. So we have a theme going on, but if you want, you could make them go in all kinds of different directions and have sort of a more eclectic feel to them. But I wanted something a little more neater and tidy. There you go, get the back on there. And this is where having a good glue really comes in handy, because these backs are angled, but they just held on by the glue, just the sheer strength of the glue. So this might have been a place where using hot melt glue would have been a little bit better than the regular glue that I use, but what I use is actually pretty good, and it kind of combines the best of hot melt and regular glue. You have time to work with it, but it's pretty strong, and if you hold something in place for about 30 seconds, it'll stay. So, yeah, you can find a link to that down in the description if you're interested in checking it out yourself. There, so there's our lovely little table with, I want to say those are cinnamon buns, even though the color's a little bit different. Maybe some sort of specialty fun cinnamon buns. There's our futuristic staircase with no railing. Yeah, always need a railing with your staircase, but they didn't include this one because I guess they figured the little people that live in here can handle it. And there's a nice wardrobe with a lovely pierced front. I love those little details like that. They really add a lot to what you're doing. And this is going to be a lamp here. These pieces were very fiddly because none of them were quite the right shape, and I think that's due to the warping again. But a little bit of pressure, some good glue, and it took right off. More foam. I'm sorry, I keep calling this foam. It's a type of material. It's like fleece. It's very fluffy. Yeah. And I believe this is going to be the headboard for the upstairs. So we'll tuck in the material there. Again, we're doing the line the edges technique and then wrapping the whole thing. It's not a technique that you see in a lot of dollhouses kits anyways. But it works out really nice. I might try it on my own stuff sometime. Gives you a nice edge that looks like it's almost sewn if you tuck them in tight enough. We'll get the bed base going here as well. Get her into the footboard. And this, or sorry, headboard. This bed actually does not have a footboard, which is a very modern design. Get a blanket on there, all nice and cozy. I did not do a very good job on my corners, I think. If I was a housemaid, I'd be scolded. Just tucking them in like that. There's very fancy ways you can fold your corners, but they're going to be covered by the blanket, so there's no real need to fold them in real nice. I cut out this piece with some curves on here so I could have a continuous piece of lace all the way around. The kit actually called for square corners and you cut them up, but I like the curved look. I thought that looked really nice and finished. Although the blanket is a little bit large for that bed. Tiny, tiny pieces go together to make the nightstand. Again, somewhat modern, very chic. There we go. And a little vase with some flowers. Lovely picture. I don't know who this is. Maybe this is whoever lives here. Maybe this is a bachelor pad and that's his girlfriend, his fiance, his love of loves. I don't know. Another little table going together here. Need lots and lots of little tables. And a little bit of lace. Always need more lace as well. Even if you're going for more of a macho look in your house, a more manly look, a little bit of lace never goes wrong. It really spruces up any little kits and make them a little more exciting, a little more homely, a little friendlier, I think. Now this is a big raised area by the main window in the dollhouse, and it's a little bit tricky to put together. You have lots of pieces that need to fit together just right, but everything did seem to be cut the right size and the right shape, so it snapped together pretty good. Yeah, all went together pretty well. We've got all the pieces of window there, and you're supposed to do a lot of trimming to this, but I thought it looked really good to just have those curtains just sit there like that. I thought they looked super modern. And now we're attaching the walls. The walls are very strange shapes. But when it all comes together, you see exactly why they're that shape, and everything fits together nicely. Notice the bit of paper that was left long so that it can cover that space. That roof there is apparently supposed to be undersized like that. I would have liked it to be in full size, but I don't know. The designers had the reasons, I'm sure. And we get the second floor in there. It's a studio apartment with a mezzanine style second floor for the bedroom. I think that is cool. Very happening. Very modern. Downtown. Chic. We get the bed in there and the lamp. That's actually a lamp there at the foot of the bed as well. A little globe. Yeah. Get the nightstand. Place to put your glasses at night. Some nice pictures as well. Lots and lots of pictures in this kit too. And they actually have like a photo wall. So I arranged them in what I thought was an appealing style. Get that kitchen in there. Now I was following the instructions to the T, and frankly it would have been better to install the bathroom and then the second floor instead of second floor and then bathroom. And the kitchen as well. But live and learn. Sometimes the instructions are very good and the order they do things is very important. Other times, not so much. You want to follow your instinct and do things the way you want to do. But everything went together okay. It just doesn't make for very good video because my hands are in the way quite a bit. Get that bookshelf in there. That was a tight fit because the upper floor was sagging a little bit. It was a little bit warped and the glue had let it slip a little bit and then dried, so a little bit of extra pressure, but everything's nice and secure now. Get those plants in there. I like to think of this as like a Zen meditation corner. You have your little cushion there, your coffee table, a beautiful view out the window. Yeah. Get those stairs in there as well without the railing. And our little breakfast nook. I know it's, you call it a breakfast nook, but I think this is a every meal nook. Yeah, could have used a rug under that, I think, but not one provided in the kit, so. We get our fancy couch down there. There's a rug there. That's lovely. Our coffee table as well. And there we go. That's the whole thing, all wired up and lit up. There's our bathroom with our lovely shower, our beautiful couch and coffee table. Have a little round table view of the whole thing. Lots of details in this, lots of really nice things to look at after it's done, especially for someone who didn't put it together. When you show it to people, they love all the little details and all the little things. The books left open to make it look like somebody was just there a minute ago. Here it is all lit up with the lights. Other than being orange lights, I think this looks really nice. Lots of lighting. Yeah, it looks really good. Yeah. I was really impressed with this kit. I was happy with this one. It took quite a long time, and there's quite a lot to do, but, you know, that's what we like doing, making these miniatures. We enjoy putting them together. So, a big kit is not a bad thing at all. So I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did enjoy that, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon so you know whenever I post a new video. And if you really enjoyed everything, and you want to help me out to make more videos, there are some Amazon links down the bottom where you can find not just the glue, but the other supplies that I use when making these dollhouse kits. And if you click on one of those and buy anything, whether it's a supply or anything else on Amazon after you click the link, Amazon will kick back a few dollars to me, and I'll use those to help make more videos for you. But anyways, in the meantime, just want to say thank you for watching. Bye-bye.